is not that great of a boxer. Is he strong?
Yes.
Yes. But what else? Now, would I get in the ring and try to go blow for blow Keith Thurman? No, I'm not a dummy. But I'm bigger than Keith Thurman. I'm a woman, but I'm bigger.
I mean, aggressively. That's one of his greatest trademarks, one of his greatest weapons and dimensions. He wears you down. And he was wearing Thurman down. He fights that kind of pressure fight and still maintains length and height without giving it up. That's extraordinary.
Claressa Shields said, I've never been beat like that by anybody in my life. I've never had that happen. Claressa, stop. You've never fought anybody like Sebastian Fundora with that type of advantage on you in your life. You've never done that. But who cares what you've never had happen?
Claressa Shields mocked Keith Thurman after the Fundora loss during a live interview, saying she is a better boxer than him and claiming he cannot handle body shots and is not a great fighter.
I got better skill. Keith gotta land before he can, and then you talking about, oh, he only gotta land once. He gotta land more than once to get me out of there. But how is he gonna take the punch that I give to him? Keith Thurman can't take my body shot. Did he take the body shot?
She even tweeted after the Fundora fight, making fun of Keith Thurman, stating, "Yeah, Keith got beat so bad the ref had to save him. Got beat TF down. Say what you want. I ain't never got my ass kicked like that, especially in a world title fight." This feud is not new, as Claressa had previously called out Keith, saying she could beat him, while Keith Thurman dismissed it by saying she just wants attention and excitement through trash talking.
Anticipation on a terrific fight, highly anticipated fight. They just wake up to some new boxing drama. And I walked the little red carpet to go to the fight. And the last person on that red carpet brought up Claressa Shields. Are you aware, Keith Thurman, that Claressa Shields called you out this morning? And I said, yeah, I'm aware. My boy texted me in the morning about this, you know, about her comment. So I found it from a third party. Like, I'm aware of it. And then, wow, what's your response? You know, you don't ask Keith Thurman for a response and not get a...
The boxing world sees this as Claressa forcing a rivalry with Keith Thurman even though she does not have any fight or matchup scheduled with him.
Now you act like you're sworn enemies and like, aha, you getting beat up. Ain't nobody did that to me. You never fought a Fundora. So, of course, nobody did it to you. There's no one in the whole women's talent pool that fight like Fundora or that could Fundora. Any of them. Katie Taylor, put Katie Taylor with Fundora or anybody else for that matter. Bro, what are we talking about? Right? Made the video about that. Check that in the channel. That's all I'll say about that. Then this comes across the desk. Like, it is literally getting unbelievable. I made this post. Claressa Shields tells a fan that Papoose, her boyfriend, was not at Cardi B's concert because he was at home eating her out.
Claressa did not stop there, adding, "Fight back, Keith, just out here getting punched on and circling the other way sometimes." As she continued criticizing his performance, Shields claimed she has never been dominated the way Keith Thurman was against Sebastian Fundora.
Thurman, for this fabricated beef when he didn't never really even start anything with you. You don't really have a real beef other than you saying you want to fight a man, you know? For me, it's corny, right? It's corny. And you're black, Keith Thurman's black, and you're just taking it to a whole nother level like y'all have some real beef. The other thing for me that I can't get down with is I don't like when people see a performance like Fundora and almost like claim credit for it, right? Somebody left me a comment. Oh, and Keith Thurman really wanted to fight Terrence Crawford.
Analysts responded by saying she has no comparable experience, as she has never faced an opponent with Fundora's size, style, and relentless pressure.
Couldn't be so much, you know what I mean? So there's that. But then also Claressa Shields, right? Where you're almost, hey, ain't nobody did that to me. But you didn't fight Fundora. In fact, your whole career as a pro, you've never fought a Fundora. If I'm lying, I'm flying. Name somebody that Claressa Shields ever fought in the women's league, right? In all her fights, she got under 20 fights, that you felt could beat Sebastian Fundora. That you felt was the female equivalent of a Sebastian Fundora. So why are you bragging about this? I don't get it. Why are you bragging that another man did that to another man? Like somehow you're...
Fannin, the boxing analyst, said that Claressa is becoming disrespectful with her comments and sounds delusional based on what she has been saying about Keith Thurman recently.
Let's also look at Claressa Shields from the perspective of Sebastian Fundora. Claressa Shields has also never put a beating on anybody like that. Never has. Put a beating like Sebastian Fundora put on on Keith Thurman. Claressa Shields has never put that type of beating on a woman. Not like that. Not where they're like, oh my God, this is life-threatening. That's life-threatening weapons from this man. Punching down, turning down on this guy. Look, man, people say a lot of things about Sebastian Fundora. The way that he's marketed is not accurate. That is a nasty, mean, and I think, man, unfair competitor. Like, seriously, bro, these people, even his little sister, I don't care if they put those glasses on and then they act like all smiley and stuff in front of the camera like they're nerds. They're not. Those people are very mean, very, very, very calculating, and very dangerous competitors.
Fannin acknowledged Claressa Shields as a very tough and talented boxer who has done a lot for the sport, but criticized her recent behavior toward Keith Thurman, saying she has become excessive, obnoxious, and disrespectful. He explained that her comments about Thurman ignored the circumstances of his fight against Sebastian Fundora, who had clear advantages in age, size, and skill. Fannin emphasized that Thurman was a major underdog but still showed courage and professionalism by stepping into the ring. He highlighted that every boxer, including Shields, deserves respect for their efforts, and her unnecessary trash talk toward Thurman is uncalled for and should stop because it undermines the achievements of fighters who take real risks.
One time in a couple years, 2 times in a few years, he's moving up to a weight class. He's in a weight class where Sebastian Fundora is the most dangerous guy in the weight class. He's 36, 37 years old. Sebastian Fundora is in his late 20s, mid to late 20s. This is if you know anything about the sport of boxing, this is designed pretty much for Sebastian Fundora to get Keith Thurman's name on his resume. And Keith Thurman is not stupid enough not to know that. But yet he was brave enough, and he was risking it enough, willing to risk it enough to get in the ring with that kid. And a lot of people would not do that. You're gonna see that when people start trying to unify. You're gonna see what a dangerous person Sebastian Fundora is, specifically for a guy of the dimensions of a Keith.
A Blue Blood Sports TV host criticized Claressa Shields for her recent comments about male boxers. Despite having a professional record of 18 wins, no losses, and 3 knockouts, Shields has shown a pattern of disrespect toward male fighters. The host pointed out that Shields was dropped in her career by Hannah Gabriels, highlighting that she has not faced opponents like Keith Thurman, Rolando Rauli Romero, or Gennady GGG Golovkin, yet claimed she could defeat them. The host emphasized that Fundora is 6 feet 6 inches with an 80-inch reach, a former WBO and WBC junior middleweight champion, and a legitimate world-class fighter.
Shields may be bored in boxing, in men and women's boxing, but Claressa Shields, on numerous occasions, has now decided that it's okay. She's so comfortable that it's okay to disrespect her male counterparts. She's 18 wins, no loss, no draw, 3 wins by way of knockout. Claressa Shields has been dropped in her career by Hannah Gabriels. In the past, she stated that she could beat former unified welterweight world champion superstar boxer Keith one-time Thurman. She also stated that she can beat Rolando Rolly Romero, 2-division world champion.
Despite this, Shields labeled Fundora as unskilled and claimed she could beat him, which the host called delusional. The host further explained that male and female fighters have different physical attributes, pointing out the flaws in comparing Shields to fighters like Rolly Romero or Thurman. He stressed that her comments undermined the accomplishments of legitimate fighters like Thurman and Fundora and that such comparisons are unnecessary and disrespectful.
Made the ridiculous statement that she could compete with Gennady Triple G Golovkin. Now, Claressa Shields takes to social media to clown Keith one-time Thurman after he got battered and brutally beaten yesterday. So his record is now 31 wins, 2 losses, no draw, 23 wins by way of knockout. He has more knockouts than Claressa Shields has fights. He took on the Towering Inferno, a cheat code. The former unified WBO, WBC, junior middleweight world champion, Mexican superstar boxer Sebastian Fundora, who is now 24 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, 16 wins by way of knockout. Sebastian Fundora is 28 years old, stands at 6'6", with an 80-inch arm reach, competing at 154.
Tim Bradley explained the fight in detail, noting how Fundora executed a flawless game plan. Bradley said, "Fundora knew you very well. All he did was step back out of range, highlighting Fundora's preparation and understanding of his opponent's movement. He emphasized Fundora's reach advantage, pointing out the 11-inch difference over Keith Thurman, which made positioning and setting up shots extremely difficult." Bradley described how Fundora could move and quickly reset in front of Thurman, making it hard for him to land effective punches. He also praised Fundora's ability to throw from different angles, turning punches into whipping shots that left Thurman exposed. Bradley credited Fundora's intelligence and mentioned the influence of his family, including his sister, noting she may even surpass him in skill.
You can do. Look, you had Fundora came with a game plan, and he knew you very well. Oh, he knew. He knew you before you attack. You kind of like your feet shuffle, and then you explode in with combinations. All he did was step back out of range. I told y'all that motherfucker been working on his step back game to keep his distance. I told y'all. You know, shit. Did y'all hear him after? What'd he say? Let me put my glasses on so I can see you. I told you that motherfucker can't see, but he can feel. He can feel. He can feel. He poking around. He can feel. Yeah. Stevie Wonder can see a little bit too. Don't let that motherfucker fool you. Stevie Wonder can see a little bit. Ray Charles, he can see a little bit too. Hell yeah, they can see a little bit. Yeah. Shit, you don't listen to their songs. They be seeing your ass.
Despite Thurman's experience, Bradley suggested it may be time for him to consider retirement if he cannot remain active and disciplined. He stressed that Fundora's combination of reach, positioning, and fight IQ makes him a difficult opponent, although still beatable. The analysis highlighted Fundora's technical ability while pointing out Thurman's struggles and the importance of preparation, discipline, and using advantages effectively in boxing.
Ooh, it's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough to outposition this dude, because he can set up shot from far away. The motherfucker had 10 inches, 11 inches on this motherfucker, Keith Thurman. 11 inches. Damn. Most men want 1 or 2 more. This motherfucker had 11 inches on this motherfucker, bro. Reach. 11 inches. Crazy. So he can start up and set up shot far away, out at distance. And then when he move in position, you can't even hit him. So when Keith was trying to move to his left, cause I told his ass, move to your left, bro, move to your left. Shit, he cut that damn angle off. All he did was scoot his little ass over. Man, I'm gonna show y'all one day on how he did it. Oh, how he just scooted over and he was right back in front of his ass. 50-50. No, you gonna go this way, champ? No, you going the opposite way, cause guess what? I'm gonna light your ass.
Teddy Atlas analyzed the fight with attention to both performance and stoppage. He noted the ending felt inevitable as the fight progressed, saying the stoppage seemed likely. Despite this, Atlas praised Fundora's performance as very impressive, recognizing his technical skill and preparation. He explained his discomfort with a defensive approach, stating that being passive can be damaging, but acknowledged the referee acted compassionately in stopping the fight. Atlas admitted he was not fully satisfied with the stoppage but accepted it was difficult to argue against because Thurman was clearly being dominated.
A little more opportunity, but where the fight was leading, the way it felt like the stoppage was coming and probably inevitable. In the end, again, very impressive performance by Fundora. Just want to get into it, hear your take.
Yeah, listen, I'm not gonna mince my words, I never do. But I'm a little caught in a little quandary here. I'd never like to sit in the middle of the fence. That's never a comfortable place for me. I don't think it should be comfortable for anyone because it freaking hurts your backside. But I didn't love the stoppage with the referee. I thought the referee, look, he was compassionate. He did the right thing, right? He protected the fighter, but he protected himself a little bit too because it was looking a little bit bad there. But I wasn't thrilled with the referee stopping it, I'll tell you right now.
He described the fight as one-sided, a complete shutout where Thurman struggled to carry out his strategy despite having a plan to use movement, athleticism, and timing to get inside on Fundora. Atlas explained that Thurman's strategy made sense in theory, aiming to move side to side, switch stances, and attack when Fundora was not set, but it was not executed effectively. He emphasized Fundora's dominance, preparation, and the importance of strategy in modern boxing, showing that even strong plans can fail against a technically superior and disciplined opponent.
It's awful hard to argue strongly against it because he was getting busted up. It was a whitewash. It was one-way traffic. It didn't look like he had answers. He had the right idea, but it wasn't being executed. The idea was to move, use his athleticism, move side to side, keep Fundora moving his feet, switching his stances, and then get in, jump in, move in, close in real quick and attack when Fundora wasn't ready to punch. It looked like that was the only strategy that made sense. It looked like his people at least had him prepared for a strategy. It's not like we see too many of these guys that they come in as underdogs and they have no strategy.
Paulie Malignaggi analyzed Keith Thurman's career and his performance against Sebastian Fundora in detail. He noted that even in previous fights, including against Manny Pacquiao and Josesito Lopez, Thurman had shown signs of decline and vulnerability, largely due to inactivity and lack of high-level competition over time. Malignaggi emphasized that Fundora is not only world-class but also constantly improving, maintaining his power, reach, and ability to control the ring. He highlighted Fundora's ability to create openings with long-range punches, looping shots, and wide angles, making him very difficult to handle, especially for a fighter like Thurman who has not been consistently active.
He didn't look awfully great even doing those, and those were a long time ago, and he was already looking susceptible in those two fights. He lost to Pacquiao, lost to an older Pacquiao, but also, if you remember the Josesito Lopez fight, it really, even though that was a long time ago, it's still a measuring stick because there's not a lot of measuring sticks to compare Keith with, he just hadn't been that active, so even when in the recent times that he's been going, those extra rounds, those world-class fights at higher level, it already looked like he was fading a little bit. I think the possible believers in Thurman were maybe looking at the fact that Fundora has been hittable and still is. Still looked good tonight with the push pull, which again that slide back step and setting up punches. He's doing that better and better. He did it in the Tim Tszyu rematch very well. He did it a little bit against Cordell Booker as well. So yeah, I feel like Fundora not only is world class, but he is improving all the more, and he still keeps the old attributes that he has, which is a lot of power and his ability to reach.
Malignaggi pointed out Fundora's versatility, including his ability to attack the body effectively from both inside and outside despite being 6 feet 5 inches, a major height advantage in the light middleweight division. He noted that Fundora is left-handed and has improved his step back and jab combinations, which makes things even harder for opponents. While Thurman is experienced, Malignaggi stressed that age and inactivity played a key role, with Thurman at 37 years old being less capable of handling long rounds against a physically superior and improving opponent like Fundora. He praised Fundora's mix of physical attributes, technique, and ring intelligence, while noting that Thurman's past achievements could not fully overcome the challenges presented by such a dominant and evolving fighter.
You know, looking back, I guess, I mean, you guys see my pre-fight video. You know, it was basically mainly bringing up the points about Keith just being, you know, just not having been active enough to be in this kind of fight. This is a very, very difficult guy to deal with. Even if Fundora, you know, has some flaws at times, which he's correcting, he's getting better and better, honestly. The flaws are becoming less and less with Fundora, but it's, even with the flaws, Fundora is still world class. Even with the flaws, he still beat Erickson Lubin in a shootout type of fight. Yeah, he got beat by Mendoza, but he was a very difficult guy to deal with, regardless with the flaws. Now that the flaws are being corrected, this guy is getting better and better. Still hits hard, hits you from all kinds of weird and crazy ranges, just creates crazy.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned. Until next time.